And right now we have breaking news from the high country. Our first look at the scene where trooper Eugene Hofacker was shot after a traffic stop goes bad. The driver who shot him was in turn shot and killed. Now this all happening just west of Dotsero along I-70 early this morning. Right now the westbound lanes of I-70 just reopening within the last few minutes after being closed for about 8 hours. And we have team coverage of this breaking story. Call 7 investigator John Ferrugia uncovering new information about the suspect. And we start with Russell Haythorne with new details about the shooting and Trooper Hofacker. Russell?
Yeah, and the trooper is in critical but stable condition over at Valley View Hospital in Glenwood Springs. As for the highway, westbound I-70 just reopened within the last few minutes, although we're still not seeing any westbound traffic, so it's taking a while for the traffic to get to this point. The eastbound lanes opened at about 2:15 this afternoon after a 5-hour closure on the eastbound lanes and an 8-hour closure in the westbound lanes. As for the trooper who was shot, we just obtained his service photo from the Colorado State Patrol. He is 31-year-old Eugene Hofacker. He is a 6-year veteran with the Colorado State Patrol, and the chief of the State Patrol says it's a blessing he's still alive. First came the traffic stop.
It's going to be white male, Colorado.
Then, 27 seconds later, chaos.
Shots fired. Give me an ambi. I got officer down. Great 495. I'm hit. I've got a wound to the leg. It looks like we got a blood loss.
We have shots fired and an officer down. I-70 at the 129 westbound. Leg wound with lots of blood loss.
Garfield County Sheriff Lou Valero says there were 2 troopers in the same patrol unit making the stop. The trooper closest to the suspect was shot.
Second trooper on the scene returned fire, and the suspect was shot and killed.
Suspect's down. I got Kobe on scene.
You can sense the urgency in the second trooper's voice as they wait for an ambulance.
In and out of conscious. We still have pulse, still breathing.
Scene is secure. Scene is secure. I got stat though. I'm losing him. He's in and out of consciousness and serious blood loss. Just waiting on ambi. Shot 2 times. Suspect's on scene. Suspect is down, and he is deceased.
It's not clear how many shots the second trooper fired in the exchange of gunfire. On a side note, just after the shooting, there was a pregnant woman who was being transported by ambulance from here in Dotsero to Glenwood Springs, but because of the closure in the westbound lanes, they could not get through, so they ordered an emergency closure of the eastbound lanes. That ambulance did get through. She had fluid filling up her lungs, but we're told at this late hour that she is doing okay. And the trooper is in critical but stable condition at the same hospital. We're live in Garfield County. Russell Haythorne, 7 News.
Call 7 investigator John Ferrugia confirming through several sources the suspect in today's shootout is Thomas Ornelas. And John, you found that this is a guy with an extensive and violent criminal background.
That's right, Mike. Court records we've obtained show he was awaiting trial later this year after being arrested on attempted second-degree murder charges last year in Mesa County. Now, this was a case that included additional charges of assault with a deadly weapon and assault with extreme indifference. Ornelas had pled not guilty on all counts. He was out on bond. He was no stranger to violence as he served time in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder when he was 17 years old. That was around 1990. When he got out of prison, he had parole violations, arrests related to drugs, assault, and domestic violence, as well as warrants for not showing up in court. He was also arrested for violation of a protection order. Ornelas apparently relished his reputation as one of his aliases in the CBI records are listed as Sick Ornelas. Given his violent history, his death today in a shootout with a state trooper is not a surprise, but with so many arrests and convictions, there's certainly a question of why the judicial system saw fit to return him to the street to await a trial for second-degree attempted murder. In the newsroom, I'm John Ferrugia, 7 News.
Right now on the 7 News app, you can read more about today's developments. You can also turn on push alerts, get the very latest breaking information on this and other stories.